All right, shalom, shalom, Salakia. Video cut off on me. I'm gonna just pick up where I left off at. Genesis 25, verse 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. Right. So you got, Esau. His lot is to, work the fields, hunt, bring back meat, bring back venison. And Jacob is what? His lot was to just, be a plain man and dwell within the house. All right. So, verse 28, and Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob sod pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, Feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, Sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, Behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? All right, and that's the reason why, Esau has this hatred against Jake. That's the reason why Esau, that's the reason why Esau is doing all this fucking wickedness, man. He's trying to get that birthright back, He's trying to get that blessing back, which was never ordained for him to have in the first place, man. All right, that blessing was ordained for Jacob to have from the beginning. But Esau, he trying to chase something that's never going to be in his possession, man. And that's why he driving himself crazy over this shit, man. All right, when he see brothers, videos, when he see brothers on the highways and byways, because he definitely see these things going on, man. He gets shooken up and scared by it because he knows that it's true. All right, he knows that's the birthright, that's the blessing Jacob was given. All right, and it was not given unto him. His blessing is here and now. All right, his birthright that he received is the shit that he's doing now. Well, we're going to get to that. I ain't going to jump the gun. I'm going to keep reading. It says, verse 32, and Esau said, Behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, Swear to me this day. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. And Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. So, hey, man, at the end of the day, this devil, you can't get mad, man, because you despised your birthright. You didn't honor it, and you gave it up like it wasn't nothing, man. All right? Because it never was ordained for you to have the kingdom of heaven. It never was ordained for you to rule in the kingdom of heaven, to be a people near and close to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. That never ever was ordained for you to have, Esau. So that's why this devil, he's driving himself crazy, trying to obtain that birthright, trying to obtain, a everlasting kingdom here on earth, which is never going to happen, man. Never going to happen. All right. So now I'm gonna jump to next chapter, chapter 27, and I'm gonna start at verse 27. It says, and he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment, and blessed him, and said, See, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which the Lord hath blessed. Now, obviously this is the time period where where Rebekah is now getting Jacob to supplant his father into, receiving that blessing, to actually receiving the birthright. Okay. And now Jacob is about to receive the birthright from his father, which he had to supplant in order to do that. All right. So, verse 27, and he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment, and blessed him, and said, See, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which the Lord hath blessed. Because Jacob, he had to post himself to be Esau, or in order to supplant. He had to put on animals. He had to put on basically he had to put on something hairy on his skin, all right, so that when his father touched him, he could feel like Esau, all right, he could smell like the field, so that plant could come off right in order to receive the blessing. All right, verse 28, it says, therefore Yahweh give thee the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. All right, and that's the blessing that Jacob received. That's the blessing that us Israelites inherited, all right, as Israelite men, as Israelites, period. That's the blessing that we were inherited, man. Okay? And we're not going to get that blessing until we're in the kingdom of heaven. We're not going to have the nations, all right, to serve under our rule into the kingdom of heaven. We're not going to have the fatness of the earth into the kingdom of heaven, man. All right? And quick little precept. This is Deuteronomy Chapter 28, verse I'm gonna start at the top. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. Right? And that's what the Lord's going to do in the kingdom of heaven. Because in the kingdom of heaven, the Lord is going to take away that flesh, that stony heart, and give us hearts of flesh. All right. The Lord's going to write his law, statutes, and commandments in our inward parts, so we be programmed to do righteousness. All right, all the time, 24/7. The Lord's going to take away this defiled flesh and give us celestial bodies, man. All right, so that we can keep the law, statutes, and commandments for eternity. Keep them to a T. All right, and then we're going to make these other nations keep them as well. And that's how the kingdom of heaven is going to be ruled. That's how they're going to serve under the rulership of the Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai and the Israelite nation. All right? And that's how we're going to receive that blessing. That's how we're going to be set on high above all the nations. Verse 2, and all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power. Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thine sheep. Blessed shall be thy basket and thy store. Blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shalt thou be when thou goest out. All right, and that's the blessings we're gonna have in the kingdom of heaven, man, according to the birthright that was ordained for us to have. All right, that we inherited. So I'm going to keep reading, picking back up at Genesis chapter 27, verse 29. It says, let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren. All right? Because once again, what was the prophecy when Rebekah was giving birth? Right? That the elder shall serve the younger. And Esau was born first. And technically Esau and Jacob, we are brothers, technically. So what does that mean? Esau is going to serve Jacob in the kingdom of heaven, man. All right? And not just Esau, the rest of these other nations as well. Verse, it says, cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. All right? It says, hold on, I got one more precept, another precept to come in mind. All right, this is Isaiah. And this is another prophecy as well that's going to take place according to the blessing, according to the birthright that we inherited as Israelites. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. Okay? So the Lord, Israel is the chosen people of Yahweh Yahushai. All right? Israel is the chosen and favored people that God deals with and that the Messiah deals with. All right? He doesn't deal with no other nation like he deals with the Israelites. He doesn't love any other nation at all, but he loves Israel. And Israel is not those so-called Jews that's in Jerusalem. Israel is the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indies, Guatemalans, Panoramans, so forth and so on. All you got to do is look up the 12 tribes of Israel. That's all you got to do, man. All right? So the Lord is going to choose Israel, have mercy on Jacob, right? Because that's who received the blessing, Jacob. It says, and set them in their own land. So the Lord is going to place us back in Israel. He's going to clean up Israel. All right, he's going to clean this whole earth up, clean the whole world up, because Esau's done so much fucking damage. All right, and he defiled so much, especially the land of Israel. All right, that the Lord is going to have to cleanse it with fire. All right, but once the Lord, reestablishes the earth, once everything is set back in order and in righteousness in the kingdom of heaven, we're going to inherit our land, which is Israel, man. All right. Once again, it says, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Right. 2/3 of the nation of Israel, the wicked ones of Israel, they're going to be joined back to righteousness. All right. And they won't ever go off again. They're going to be joined back with righteousness, joined back to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and they won't ever go off again, according to Jeremiah 31 and 31. All right, according to Hebrews, the 8th chapter. All right. So it says, and the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. See, now you got to pay attention to the scriptures, man. All right. You have to pay attention to the scriptures, because it's not talking about 2/3 no more. All right. It's not talking about Israelites no more. It's talking about those other nations, the physical Gentiles, the heathens. All right. It's talking about Ishmael. It's talking about Esau. It's talking about Moab, Ammon. It's talking about Japhet. All those other nations outside of the nation of Israel, they're going to be servants and handmaids in the kingdom of heaven. All right. It says, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And we have been oppressed by every nation. All right. Every single nation we've been oppressed by. We've been oppressed by, you Ishmaelites. We've been oppressed by, these other nations help Esau take us down. These other nations is taking part of our spoil, taking part in our spoil, man. All right, they're in league with Esau, Edom. These other nations. All right. So all of you heathens is going to be servants and handmaids in the kingdom of heaven. All right, all of y'all are going to be Esau going to be oppressed in the kingdom. These other nations, they're going to be happy to serve us in the kingdom of heaven. In the kingdom of heaven. All right, because as the scriptures say, it says when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. Roughly paraphrasing. All right, so I'm gonna keep reading. It says, verse 3, and it shall come to pass in the day, Isaiah chapter 14, verse 3, and it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. Because guess what? The captivity is going to be destroyed. All right? And the captivity that we're in, the hard bondage where we were made to serve, is Esau's kingdom. So that means Esau's kingdom has to fall. Esau has to be taken out of power in order for the kingdom of heaven to be established. All right? That's why the destruction has to happen first. The destruction is going to be the utter destroy. The destruction is going to be the wiping out of Esau and his kingdom. All right? Esau going to serve 1,000 years in slavery under the Israelite rule, under Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and they're going to be taken out. The whole nation going to be wiped out after they serve their sentence. 1,000 years of slavery, man. Okay? And it's prophecy. as we just read, man. All right. So with that being said, I'm gonna just close out, and Lord willing, make a part 2 to this lesson. All right. Lord willing, it was edifying through the spirit power Yahweh Yahweh Shai. Call Halayim La Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Chakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who were well and taught us this a month, which is the truth. Shalom, shalom.